Hello and welcome to Yes, You Are Brave. This is a podcast where we are going to set off on a journey together to find and build our brave, where we explore all the ways that you have been brave and all the ways that you can be brave again. Because even though we may have forgotten or we may have fallen out of practice, we're all brave. And I'm on a mission to prove it and help you believe that yes, you are brave. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Yes, You Are Brave. Super excited you're here. I'm Pawnee, I'm your host, and I am excited to talk to you today about being brave enough to put yourself first. And I know that some of you are thinking, well, that's not brave, that's just selfish. But I beg to differ because there is this attitude that, especially among certain generation, I guess, that we have to always be putting everybody else first. And not that it is a bad thing to be selfless and to be thinking about other people and to always be serving, but I think that we do that like a lot of things. When we take it to an extreme, it becomes not the best thing in the world. So I wanted to talk today about why putting ourselves first is brave and why it actually is not selfish and why it helps people out around us more than we think. There's a lot of things that have come through my mind about this thing, but I had an experience the other day where I was at the temple, and there is a thing called a prayer roll at the temple end where you put a name on a piece of paper, you put it in a box, and then basically what it is a way of having other people pray for the people in your life that need prayers as well. So, it's for people that are sick or people that are struggling, things like that. And it took me a while, but I finally, a number of years ago, became okay with the idea of putting myself on the prayer roll, because I felt like, I've got these struggles, and it's okay to have other people pray for me that are not just my family. And so, but I was always that I would stand there and I would think about anybody that needed help, and I would put all of those people first, and then I would put myself down. And it was interesting, the other night I was there and I stood there, and the first person that I put down was myself. And then I put down a few people in my family that were struggling, and some friends that I felt like needed a little bit extra. But it was interesting because it was literally the first time that had ever happened. And I go to the temple all the time. I'm just getting back into the habit now, but for a long time I went all the time. And so it's one of those things that was an interesting place to be, because I have been working for the last number of years to really shift my mindset, to shift the way that I have got everything wired, and to shift the way that I think. One of the hardest things for me is to realize that I need to be able to be first, because a lot of times, especially the way that some of us grew up in this always be serving, always be helping others, always be putting other people first, is that it gets taken to an extreme, and then guess what? You are never at the top of your list, and sometimes you are never on your list. And so when we make ourselves a priority in our own lives, then guess what? We are in a better position to be able to help other people, right? We take care of ourselves, and then we're healthier, we're happier, and we have more to give to other people. And so it's actually not selfish like we are sometimes told or made to think. It is actually a very, very selfless thing to take care of ourselves, and then we are able to better give to other people. And that sounds a little counterintuitive, I know that, but that is the way that it goes. And I think that it's interesting, as I've had more experiences where I have put myself first, I've noticed that when I put myself first, I can give more to other people. I can give better to other people. Because when you just put yourself last, and you are the last person to get any of your time and your attention and your care, then guess what? When you are trying to give to other people, then you are giving whatever's left over. instead of being able to give something that's really actually there. So the other thing that I want to say and point out about how putting yourself first is brave and how it actually helps other people is that when you get what you need, then others get a better version of you. And I was talking to a friend about this the other day, and we were talking about that and how when you get what you need, when you set boundaries and you do things for you, then it allows other people to get the better version of you. And I think that is so important. They get a well-rested, they get a healthier, they get a happier, they get a version of you that is the best possible version of you. And that is actually a beautiful thing. But they can't do that if you're not taking care of yourself. It's hard though. It is very hard to put yourself first, to say, okay, I matter enough to actually do this for myself before I do all these other things for other people. That can be difficult. And I'll be honest, I haven't been overall the best at this. I'm still getting better at this. Still improving, still learning how to do this. But there was a time a couple of years ago, it was back in the same calendar year that my dad passed away. It was in the fall, and I was subbing at the time till I figured out what I wanted to do with my life, right? Until I found something better. And I found a job working for a big company, doesn't matter who, but it was going to be a work from home customer service job. But I had to do all this training in the office first. And so I was there. I had done a lot of the training, and I was actually on the phones. And I hated it. I really, really hated it. And I had hated it like a good chunk of the time. Like the first week or so was really good. And then after that, I was just like, this is awful. I remember that I hate to be on the phones. I hate talking on the phone. But anyway, I stuck it out. And then I got to a point where I was like, this is dumb. I can't do this anymore. It's not doing anything for me. It's not really a necessary thing. And so I quit. And it actually was an interesting thing because I was talking to my manager. I had a meeting scheduled with her the week that I decided to quit. So I was like, I'll just wait until that meeting and talk to her then, because most of the time she was actually working from home too. Anyway, so I went in and I talked to her and I told her kind of the situation. I said, it hasn't been that long since my dad passed. I said, I am just not in a very good place mentally. I said, I have a hard time with having people yell at me all day, every day. And not everybody was awful, but a lot of them were not very nice. And she's like, and I said, they're at a different point, I would be able to do this and suck it up and just, I said, but right now I feel like I need to do something different for me. And she was so understanding and so cool about it. She's like, I totally get it. Her mom had passed away recently as well. And she was just really supportive of it. And I walked out that day and never went back. And it was one of the first times that I had actually first put myself first. And it was awesome. I was no longer drowning in that job. Now, I'm not going to say that my life was just perfect, but I was able to, that was one of the first things that I was able to, okay, this is what I need to do. And sometimes leaving a job that is super unhealthy for you is one of the best things that you can do. Now, I'm not saying just go out and quit your job, but if you feel like you're getting lost in it and you feel like you can't take care of you because of the situation, then maybe it's something to consider. Maybe it's time to start looking for something else. Another thing that I want to say and encourage you to put yourself first is in your own health. Now, I know that sounds very general and very vague because I feel like I can't decide what is best for your health. I can't tell you what to do for your health because it's not mine and you know you best. But I do know that I've talked about this before. It was also the year that after my dad died, a couple months after my dad died, I changed my lifestyle to live the Code Red lifestyle. And it's a whole shift in the way that you eat and the way that you drink and your sleeping habits, all those type of things. It was a complete shift. And at first I was just doing it because I felt like I needed to be a little bit healthier and I wasn't exactly sure where to go with that. And my sister had started this, and I decided to do it with her. But I did it. I started it and had pretty, relatively speaking, immediate results. In that I felt better. I lost a bunch of weight. And the longer I did it, the better I felt. And the more of my physical problems resolved themselves. And so it was hard. Well, it wasn't as hard as I think it is for some other people, because at the time I was living by myself, and yes, I ate with my sister a lot, but she was also doing it. When it's just you, it is much easier to change the way that you eat and your lifestyle. It just is. And so I changed that, but I stuck to it. The longer I stuck to it, the better I felt. And I felt like I was able to give more to other people because I was feeling better. I was also able to realize some other things that needed some attention. Once that physical health wasn't such a pressing, there wasn't all these blaring problems, I was able to focus on my mental health. There was a lot of things that came of that. And it has been one of the best things in my life. If I could encourage you to do anything, it's to find a lifestyle that is healthier than the one you're living. Put yourself first and make that change, because it's amazing what can happen when you do that. So amazing. Like I said, I feel better than I think I maybe have felt my whole life. And I feel like I have been able to make the changes that I have the last couple of years to shift my mindset to be open to other things, because that is no longer a huge issue. Yes, I've still got a few problems with still figuring out migraines, partly because I now live in a place where the pressure changes about 8 times a day, and my head can only really handle about 6. But I am in such a better place than I was before. And that is all because I decided to put myself first in changing my lifestyle and living a way that was for me and that helped me. And it's not a popular way to live, to be perfectly honest. I go to things and everything is centered around food. Let's be honest. Everything is centered around food, and 9.5 times out of 10, there is basically nothing that I can eat in other places. So I can't go to places, to functions, to events, planning on eating. And that's okay. For me, it's fine. I feel like me feeling better is actually worth those awkward, things. And it's also saying no a lot. And maybe that makes me appear stuck up. I don't really care, to be perfectly honest, because my health is way more important than other people's feelings about me eating their food. So I wanted to encourage you to do that, to put yourself first. And even if it goes against the ideas that you've been taught and the ideas that are in your little subculture where you live, it's okay to put yourself first, because then you can make sure that you are getting what you need, and then other people can have a better version of you and a more whole version of you, and not just a ragged, worn out, barely surviving version of you. And you deserve the better version of you as well. The other reason that I would say that we need to put ourselves first, is that whole, you light your own candle, right? You have a match and you have a candle. And if you light your own candle, then guess what? You can light other people's candles, and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't take away from you. But if you use that match on everybody else, then it's going to blow out eventually. And if you haven't lit your own first, then you are kind of stuck in the dark. And the last thing that I wanted to say of why you got to put yourself first and take care of you first is because I feel like when you put yourself first, you're brave enough to do that, then you take away the opportunity for all this resentment to breed. And I think that you're like, oh, well, I'm not a resentful person. Well, maybe you're not. But I know that some of us, it can be hard to not be resentful of things, and sometimes people. And we don't mean to be resentful of people, I think, but when we put them first all the time, when we don't have the boundary, when we don't take the time to take care of ourselves first, and we're always taking care of them instead of ourselves, then we don't get what we need. And eventually we kind of become we can become resentful of always taking care of them and never us. But we have to realize that that is something that we can control. When we put ourselves first, we say, no, I can't stay up late all the time with you. I have to go to bed because otherwise I am absolutely miserable. Then we're not resentful of them for keeping us up at night. It's easy to fall into those patterns, especially when we're not taking care of ourselves, and especially when we're not sleeping. It's very easy to be resentful of people, even if it's not exactly their fault. But it is very easy to do that. So I would encourage you to put yourself first. Put yourself first in your health, in your sleep, in your taking care of you and especially your mental health, in your taking care of your spiritual part of your life or whatever it is. Please, please, please remember that you are enough just the way that you are. You matter. You matter, and you deserve to be first. You deserve to have that love and that care, and you deserve to be first on your list. You deserve that because you are wonderful and you are amazing. And yes, you're off saving the world and helping people one person at a time, but you can only help so many people before you burn out. And so if you take care of yourself first, then you are able to continue longer and do more good. But mostly because you deserve it, my love. You deserve to be able to be taken care of. And I hate to say it, but you can't rely on other people to do that for you. You've got to do it yourself. And you deserve that love and that care. So please, please, please be brave enough to put yourself first. Because you deserve it. You're awesome. You're wonderful. You're amazing. Hope you have a fantastical day. Remember that, yes, you are brave.
Thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed what you've heard today, please leave a review down below and share this with anyone that you feel like could use a little more brave in their life. And if you'd like to follow more of my journey to be brave, you can follow me on social media and link down below. Have a fantastic day, and don't forget to be brave.